Pakistan's economy is on the verge of collapse. Those are some of the scenes. Violent clashes recently broke out right across the country. It is grappling with shortages of food, medicine, and other supplies. Joining us this morning is Associate Professor of Political Science at the University of Waterloo, Miriam Mufti. Welcome to Your Morning.
Hello.
Part of the desperation in those cries that you hear is because their inflation rate hit almost 38% in May. The situation is incredible. I mean, we saw the outpouring of that. How did they get to this point?
This is really a story of a debt-driven and import-based economy. Pakistan owes $126 billion in external debt. And as the post-COVID bubble burst and fuel prices increased because of the war in Ukraine, the Pakistani rupee has lost its value against the US dollar, almost about 30% since 2021, making Pakistan's debt untenably expensive. With low productivity and no income generated from exports, Pakistan is now facing a balance of payments crisis that is rapidly reducing its foreign exchange reserves. The latest figures from the State Bank of Pakistan is that Pakistan has about $3.5 billion left in its foreign exchange reserve, which covers only 2 weeks' worth of import expenditure. So the situation in Pakistan is really, really dire, and it's because of two things happening simultaneously: a very, very large debt and a depreciating currency.
Since November, Pakistan has been urging the IMF to provide $1.1 billion in aid. Now, that was approved, but the funds were stalled because the IMF is now saying the country has failed to meet certain conditions. That agreement expires next week. So as you pointed out, $3.5 billion in its reserves. Why is Pakistan pushing so hard to get that money when it isn't enough to cover?
It isn't enough to cover, but if the IMF does not give Pakistan the $1.2 billion, I think Pakistan's financing options narrow even more. And Pakistan defaulting on its sovereign debt becomes an inevitability. People are predicting that Pakistan is likely to default on its sovereign debt by as early as December. It has about $22 billion to pay off external debt. And you're absolutely right. $6 billion is not necessarily going to help, but it is going to help the country tide over what is fast becoming inevitable in Pakistan's economy.
We were just showing pictures of protesters and police. What are your biggest concerns if Pakistan does default?
I mean, look, Pakistan is the world's 5th most populous country. We're talking about 220 million people. And if this country defaults, who's going to bail this economy out? Currently, Pakistan has two options: the IMF or turning to its all-weather allies like China, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. And I do not have to state the concern with that, which is that these countries are all authoritarian states. The other major concern that I have as a student of politics is that there is absolutely no centralized decision-making authority in Pakistan. Mm-hmm. The current government's time is running out. The country is fast careening towards another election, and we don't know if that election is going to happen or if a caretaker setup is going to be put in place. The picture that I'm really painting is that it is possible that perhaps we're going to see one of the world's worst cases of democratic backsliding with the Pakistani army stepping in and maybe carrying out a martial law.
There is potential for a huge political and economic vacuum in that country. Great to have you on today, Miriam. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.